There's also, I mean, you were talking about like hopefully this leads to something else. I was listening to um, a radio show on NPR. I still have to find the details on it. I'm looking for it because I need the guy's name. He's a guy that works with Microsoft. And the interviewer's name. I didn't hear the top of the radio show, so I didn't know which one I was listening to, but he was talking about social media. And he was talking about how social media, because its algorithm is based off of negative emotions, and because all of their advertising is geared towards advertising primarily to a person's negative emotions because they're more reactive, and that shit makes more money. Right. So a lot of the movements that are social media based are also appealing to a more negative side of people. And so when they are presented to the opposition or to anybody else, it's also appealing to their negative side, and it creates a bigger backlash, which is why, you know, when we see, I mean, his examples were after the Arab Spring, we saw a rise of more small scale terrorist networks. And then after Black Lives Matter, or during Black Lives Matter, we saw the resurgence of the alt-right. We all knew that these like casual racists were there, but somehow Black Lives Matter really mobilized people to like start acting on that. And now he's really terrified that Me Too is going to create a very outspoken, potentially like organized, mobilized base, counter movement.
Well, kind of already has in a way, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
There's all those people that are fighting for men's rights now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are such things as men's rights activists, and that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah, but it has come up that like that they're saying that like men are under attack, and that like something needs to be done about this, you know? Like,
and the truth is, women are under attack, like, and they're just telling people about
every day. Yeah. So, but it already is a thing, you know, and that's definitely like a natural response for sure. I mean, like, you know, it's kind of like goes back to like equal and opposite, you know? It's like there's always going to be a reaction in that way.
But I think he was saying that social media is somehow compounding that reaction.
I wouldn't say social media itself, but the way that it's manipulated, definitely. I think social media...
Yeah, he was saying that all social media that's basically based on...
Trends?
Kind of trends, primarily advertising.
Oh, okay.
Any social media that supports itself with advertising, which is basically all social media, is going to provide this kind of backlash because of the algorithms used to find the audience for that advertising.
I mean, I can't imagine...
It treats like political movements, it treats funny cat videos, it treats advertisements all the same way.
Yeah.
And so when it presents Black Lives Matter to a guy in a region that may not agree with that, it's probably going to present a more negative portrayal of Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
So what he was saying, and this would be something interesting for us to talk about either tonight or a later date, is a type of social media that is not ad-based and could potentially help mobilize people in a way that's more positive. But anyway, what were you saying?
That's an interesting point, but it would never fly particularly in the U.S., I don't think it would really fly that much because we're so capitalist, that anything that isn't really supported by advertising would be seen as communist. Anything publicly run or anything of that nature.
Well, yeah, but you know, the other thing is that it wouldn't be publicly run; it'd be run by Facebook, and they're like, it'd be like called like Facebook Happy, and like, which is essentially funded by ads from Facebook. So yeah, it wouldn't work anyway.
I mean, I'm sure there's a way to make a capitalist model that isn't based off of advertising. I think one of the biggest issues right now with our society in general is that everything is so ad-based. We're inundated with this shit. Mm-hmm. I'm getting to the point where I'm just turning YouTube off. Like, I'll go to YouTube to watch some video you sent me. They want me to watch an ad for 2 minutes, and I'm like, fuck you guys. Like, I'm tired of this.
Yeah, they're all fear-based. They're all either fear-based or like you said, kind of like negativity-based, which, you know, fear is not a
or they're
positive.
just stupid.
Or they're
You know?
just stupid, but I mean, yeah, but like you figure like 9 out of 10, 99 out of 100 ads are like playing on some fear that you have.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's how it works. And it's like, that's the thing, like ads, I mean, really ads, at the bottom of all this, ads rule everything.
Ads rule everything around me.
But it's true. I mean, like, there's a story that I've been like touting a lot because I've been like going around trying to like make website sales. But a website that I recently developed that I don't really want to say the name of because this isn't the best story, but they they are trying to be like an honest review site, but they're also trying to get their revenue from ads because that's, you know, really the only way to do it. And honest and ads do not go together because the second you try to get an ad, that person that's paying you to run their ad is going to have specifications, and those specifications are going to inevitably take down the honesty that you're trying to put out there. Like no one's going to pay you money to put an ad up for, say, like whatever
The
it is.
Sheridan, you know.
Yeah, like when you're like talking shit about like area or a certain hotel, like even if it wasn't the Sheridan, if you're just saying like,
Granted, and that example isn't based on any real experience. Sheraton Hotels, if you want to sponsor us.
Sheridan's listening right now.
Right, the president of Sheraton's like, these three young gentlemen that I've never heard of before. This podcast I've never seen is very interesting.
Wouldn't it be like great if this scene cut to like Aziz Ansari and the owner of Sheraton just listening to this
They're just like
together,
sitting, yeah,
and they're both like, really?
I will say though, I mean that's a really good point.
Thank you for coming over, Aziz. I knew you had to hear this.
That's a really good point, Brandon. I think a few out of the podcasts that I've listened to, a lot of them they definitely have sponsors, but they pick their sponsors, and I think that is at least a step in the right direction. But like
that's a new trend for sure.
Yeah, but like again, like you really have to. I guess that definitely does depend very much on the ethics of the content creators,
right?
That's hit or miss, you know. That's
well, you also have to be in a position to do that, you know. I mean, when you're early on, it's hard to turn down, you know. Like if
you'll take anything, everybody's doing MailChimp.
Yeah, like and like like luckily MailChimp is, as far as I know, not the word, you know, not a bad company.
MailChimp is an excellent platform to send emails, and if
we ain't
MailChimp
getting
wants
paid,
to send us
man,
some
we
money,
ain't getting paid yet.
I'm just saying, I'm letting them know we can do this shit.
Look, I thought I was like embedding it subtly, but just want to get up in there and say something to MailChimp, real sweet like.
Aziz Ansari is like, president of MailChimp, can you believe this shit? These guys are unbelievable.
They hit all of us.
Why are we all hanging out together right now?
Like, I get it, you and Sheridan, but me, Aziz?
And R. Kelly's in there too, and he's like, they called me a pedophile straight up. And they're all
Aziz
like,
was
you are one.
Yeah. Picking your ads, that's where we were. That is the ideal situation, and I've seen that more and more where people are able to, like, if they don't cater their ads, at least their content is, like, kind of geared more towards people who would... You're doing a good job if your blog is getting people that are, like, selling bed sheets. Like, that's cool. Like, those advertisers are fine, you know? Like,
but here's the thing. I mean, there's got to be... I've been thinking about this for a while, but there's got to be another system other than an ad-based system that's just better.
I mean, if you're really, like, you know, from what the sort of industry has figured out, the alternative is subscriptions.
Yeah.
Which is like, which is great if you can do it, you know, but it's hard if not. I mean, it's like the difference between, it's not quite a 1-for-1, but like Netflix versus Spotify or something. You know, it's like Netflix they've never had ads.
Yeah.
They've only had subscription, you know, versus somebody like Spotify where you can listen to it free, but you have ads or whatever. So yeah, I mean, if we could collectively pioneer a different system, that'd be great. Yeah. But I don't know what that would be.
I mean, I've always been curious about whether or not it's legal for companies. It's written into law that companies can act as individual entities, but like if they can invest.
What do you mean?
Like a potential investment model where companies invest some of their revenue into other companies or funds to gain revenue that way.
Yeah, but it's essentially the same thing as ads in a way, you know, like really they kind of know that they're going to be represented to some degree if they.
I'm not if you're investing in them, then they're beholden to you, not the other way around. And also, I don't know. The other thing about advertising and companies for me is, I mean, we're talking about the Me Too movement. What if it turns out that like whoever your number one advertiser is, like the CEO of that company, is called out for some bullshit, you know, and all of a sudden their name is all over your shit, and you're like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're in the shit together as soon as you
take their money.
You know? Yeah.
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 Pretty much.
And if you're dependent on that money, I mean, Facebook has a model where everybody's giving Facebook all kinds of money to advertise. But, you know, it's a double-edged sword because it fucks with their algorithm.
Yeah.
And another thing this guy actually said, I really need his name. Hopefully I will find him and then we can put this in the description of the podcast so that I'm not just referencing this guy that everybody's like, that motherfucker doesn't exist. But he was saying if Facebook wasn't ad-based, then it wouldn't have been so easy for the Russians to have used targeted based ads to fuck with our elections.
Yeah, definitely. I think we all have to understand that, like, it's kind of a new animal, so, like, this isn't something any of us could have seen coming.
Old fucking animal, John.
I mean, it is, but it isn't. Advertising is old, yes. But
but reaching people on such a
on such a large scale, on an unlimited scale.
Well, a large scale, but also like zero in on like very, very specific people.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the amount that they can, the data that they have on people based on like their search history and based on what they view on, you know, whatever, is like you can really narrow in your audience. You know, I mean, which is like what they sell. I mean, like for instance, like if we go on and we want to promote this podcast to people between the ages of X and X that are into this, you know, like you can really get hyper detailed with it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the other thing
is new.
I mean, it is new, and it's also in a way really fucked up. There's a friend of mine on Instagram who posted in his stories. He's an Asian guy. And Instagram doesn't have that information. When you enter your information on Instagram, you do not tell them your ethnicity. He's getting ads targeted towards Asians.
Yeah.
And he's like, how the fuck does Instagram know I'm Asian? And granted, you are taking a picture of your face, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
But that information is not supposed to be used against you, you know?
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. They do get so specific, but it's also... It's like that episode of Parks and Rec where Hooli was sending, you know, shit to Ron's son, who was an infant, you know, because they already knew where he was, his address, like what he looked like, what he liked.
Right.
And it's like so much information is being taken from people for the sake of advertising, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's weird. This is a fascinating conversation because it's the way our society is built. Like if you're in a capitalist society, advertising is going to be king.
Well, I mean, beyond that, if you're in a corporatist society, which we are, like we're beyond capitalist at this point. Yeah, advertising does.
Yeah, we're kind of like a capitalist oligarchy or something like that.
Yeah,
we are let's come up with a name for it. We are a
corporatist,
systematically racist, patriarchal, capitalist oligarchy.
Don't forget homophobic.
Oh yeah. Well, naturally.
Yeah. Brandon, I can't believe you didn't hear about this whole Disney and Marvel buying out Fox.
Did not hear that, and I'm like, there's a lot of news.
That's true.
There's a lot of news, yeah. But no, I didn't hear about this. And like, so does that include Fox, like the whole thing?
No, not the whole
no.
thing. No.
So the
Rupert
reason
Murdoch still owns Fox
Yeah.
News, so that's still going to be garbage.
Okay, so that's where it was. That's
Yeah.
where the confusion comes in, because
Yeah.
I was like,
So why
there
the-
is a separation. Then.
It's just 20th Century Fox, like the movie conglomerate.
Okay.
I don't think it's the
right.
I don't think it has anything to do with television, except for maybe. I think they own the rights now to the X-Men.
It's not official yet. They haven't announced it, but probably by the time this podcast goes live, it probably will be announced.
It'll
But
be too late.
but apparently, Marvel and Disney have been in negotiations and are finalized the purchasing of the film rights back into Marvel of the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. And I think the reason they're doing this is because, I mean, some folks about to get killed in the Infinity Wars or Infinity Gauntlet or whatever. And so they're going to have to bring in new characters that they haven't presented in the Marvel Cinematic Universe yet.
I mean, there's tons of characters they can bring in without tapping into the X-Men.
Yeah, but I think like the central conflict in the Marvel universe ever since they started with Iron Man has been Thanos. Like they've been building to Thanos. And I think that this is what like the introduction of mutants and the Fantastic Four is supposed to do. It's supposed to have another central conflict. And I think like
It's going to be Doctor Doom.
it could be Doctor Doom, but I don't think it's going to be. I think it might be Onslaught.
Yeah, I heard mention of that maybe.
I mean, the only reason I say that is because, like, if they're bringing in the mutants, they're probably going to kill off Captain America and Iron Man, and maybe even Thor. But after
I don't think they're going to kill off Captain America. He's still got a contract for like one more movie after Infinity War, doesn't he?
No, I don't believe so. I think Avengers 4 is going to be his last film, as far as what they've revealed his contract to be. I think, though, what's going to happen, and I know this is like fantasy booking territory, but I think they're probably just going to, in storyline, the existence of mutants is going to be mainstream knowledge. And so, like...
They don't have to call them, like, the Gifted anymore, or Gifted, or whatever they call them.
Miracles.
You're such a miracle.
But
Wolverine, you're such a miracle.
But like what I would assume that they would be doing is having that be the conflict, eventually making like a Civil War movie, but with Avengers versus X-Men, and then like.
But
oh, sorry, go ahead.
all this is great, but is that why Disney acquired Fox?
Yeah. Like
Really?
that is the primary reason why they got 20th Century Fox's of Fantastic
But that's like
Four.
actually like a really kind of cool reason.
Oh, it's a
Because
great
like
reason, yeah.
because like Fox has plenty of other movies that are completely unrelated to the Marvel universe.
Yeah, and a lot of them are trash. I think 20th Century Fox is a terrible fucking movie house.
Sure, like I mean, I don't want to say that without like recollecting what movies have come out of that in recent past, but like it's kind of cool that this whole acquisition has happened because of comic books.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's fascinating that the formatting of the way that they were like releasing these films it's like films are the new comics in a way. You get scheduled releases every year. You get like 3 Marvel movies. Next year is going to be a hell of a year for Black Panther and Infinity War, and I guess it's Ant-Man and the Wasp after that. But
Yeah, and you get
that should be fun. Michael Pena is going to be in it.
Captain Marvel.
yeah. You also get like side.
Captain Marvel's not next year, is it? That's 2019.
Oh, it's 2019. Yeah, I apologize. Yeah, you're right.
Well, almost next year, but you get like these side stories in TV also, you know, so like almost really is just like video representation of comic books.
I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the new main channel or platform for superheroes. Comics actually, like I've read in several places that comics these days are testing grounds for stories and characters to see who fans react to better, so that they can put them in movies.
Stick them in movies.
Yeah, pretty much.
Damn, I have an idea for a comic character. I don't know if I want to talk about it here. Somebody at Marvel will steal it from me.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah, because
what?
Marvel is all actually they're all hanging out with Aziz right now.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Now we have to like bring all these together. Now like there's this running theme of Aziz Ansari just hanging out with all of the people that we talk about.
Oh,
like,
Yeah,
Brian-
which is really weird because we all really like Aziz Ansari.
Yeah, I'm sure Aziz is definitely hanging out with Brian Michael Bendis, G.F. Johns, Avi Arad. Who's running Marvel right now? Who's running Marvel? The Marvel head. Oh, yeah. Did you hear about the new... I don't know, the new editor-in-chief in Marvel, though, he's underwater for pretending to be Asian. Did you guys hear
is that him? Yeah. He had like an Asian.
that's crazy. I
pin
pretend to
name.
be Asian all the time.
He got in trouble for it?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's
man.
underwater for it. Or
yeah.
under fire, I should say. Excuse me.
Oh, he should be. They should fire his ass like right now. Because he's been getting a lot of jobs by pretending to be an Asian man. Yeah. And it's one of those it's like a disconnect. Actually, this relates back to something that I've been hearing a lot recently from white people in general.
Oh, no.
Well, look, you told me to be myself, so here we go. Brandon's going to go pee, so I'm going to say it while he's gone because 3/4 of him won't like this. But there's been this thing. Good, John. It's just us in the room. We can speak for you. There's been this thing recently where white people are really upset about initiatives to get more people of color in the room. And they're saying things like, well, I can't get a job, or I can't, like, it's impossible to submit for things being a white guy. Nobody wants, like, your work.
Oh, my God. I wonder how that feels like.
Exactly. This is like a thing. People are like, it sucks being a white guy right now because nobody wants to read your stuff. And it's like, guess what? For one thing, it's still not easier being a person of color and submitting work. It's just as hard as it was before. It's just that now they're specifically looking for people to make their writers' rooms or their season or their actors a little more diverse. But it's not going to make it easier because there's still going to be the same number of people submitting. It's just this time we're going to be looked at. Whereas before, they didn't even look at our shit. If you wrote a script and your name was Tyrone and they saw that shit on the cover, 9 times out of 10 they wouldn't have even read that.
Or
shit.
Haji.
Or Haji.
I'm back. I heard minorities were taking our jobs. That was the gist of that.
I don't know what you're talking about, Brandon. Everything's great. We're all happy here.
I'm angry. You're right. I did not like that.
But yeah, that's been a thing. If you're listening to this podcast and you're white and you really feel like life is very, very hard for you because you're white right now, just take a moment, take a deep breath, and just re-examine all of your life choices.
And honestly, at this point, that's a very nice thing to say because I thought he was about to say, just take a minute, take a breath, and fuck you.
Take a minute, take a breath, and take my size 12 boot. Shine it up real nice. Turn that sumbitch sideways.
Aziz is like, look,
John,
you see this, Dwayne?
You can finish it.
Dwayne is too many catchphrases.
Right. The Rock is like, I do not endorse this.
Can we just have this Aziz thing as a running thing so that we can just always reference it no matter what part of the podcast you're in?
I feel like the voice of Aziz Ansari should just be like the conscience of our show.
Color Correspondence was produced by Jonah Q with music also by Jonah Q. This is a Full Metal Workshop podcast. If you like it, please subscribe. For more info on Full Metal, you can visit fullmetalworkshop.com, find us on Facebook or on Instagram at Full Metal Workshop.